Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and like. Our Pistons did it again. They beat the Hawks in Atlanta 114 to 104. The game was not that close. Pistons kind of started goofing off and got real sloppy at the end of the game and let the game get close. But it was basically a 20-point beatdown most of the game. And the Pistons' defense was sensational. Ausar did a great job on Trae Young. We're going to talk more about that later. But Pistons, the road warriors, they won 4 in a row on the road. I think they might have won 7 out of 8. They're like 13-10 on the road overall for the season. But yeah, they had, like I said, a 20-point lead. They ended up with 20 turnovers, but I didn't count it, but I know that they had probably at least 8 in the last 3 or 4 minutes. And Cade, who had a sensational game again, unfortunately, he got lackadaisical at the end of the game, and he had at least 4 of his 10 turnovers were at the very end, at the last 3 or 4 minutes. So yeah, it was very frustrating. The Pistons were being real loose and goosey with it. And they were kind of trying to stall a little bit. And I know it's hard with the 24-second clock, but they just, I know none of them were happy, and JB wasn't thrilled with it. But it was a great win. I mean, we play these games, and it's not like this upstart team just gets hot for a night and wins. We're just better. We just look really good. We just look like a playoff team. And the big thing is we pulled up to the 6th seed. Of course, everybody's jumbled up real close together, but we leapfrogged the Hawks tonight. The Hawks are now 22-21, and we're 23-21. And so we're at the 6th seed. The great thing, that's what we want. We want the 6th seed, guys, because then you don't have to go in the play-in game. And so we'll see if they can stay there. It's going to be challenging, but we got to go play the Magic on Saturday, and the Magic play such tough defense, and they're 23-22, so they're right below the Hawks. They're just right in there in the mix with the Hawks, and they've dealt with a lot of injuries, especially to Banchero and Franz Wagner. But Banchero's been playing for quite a while, and so he'll be playing for sure Saturday when we take on the Magic in Orlando. So it should be a great game. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, Cade had 29 points and 11 assists, and he had Dyson Daniels guarding him. So again, all these teams put their best defender on Cade. Dyson Daniels, he's leading the league in steals by like over a steal a game. He is very, he's going to be first team all defensive team. And Cade had his way, and Cade even, Cade shot a real impressive 12 of 19, but he missed some shots at the end of the game. Again, his turnovers and his misses, a lot of them were at the end of the game. He was really impressive prior to that. But there were some great plays, man. There's a time when Ausar gets the ball and he whips it the length of the court way down to Cade. Cade has a wide open dunk. So he could have had 30 again, and I know they like to keep track of how many 30-point games. Cade had 29. He has a breakaway dunk. Nobody's near him, but instead Duren's trailing him and no one else was coming. So he put it off the backboard and let Duren slam it. And so, that's how unselfish these guys are. They're really sharing the ball. Cade really shares the ball, and he doesn't care just about scoring, and that separates him. I will say this about Trae Young before I talk too much. I've not been a big Trae Young fan. I don't think that he's conducive to winning basketball. He's gifted. He's just this tiny little guy, but he's leading the league in assists by far. He's shooting way less. And so his scoring average is down somewhat. He's like only averaging like 23 a game, but his assists are way up, and he's really looking to pass. But Ausar did a tremendous job on him tonight. Ausar's just a great defender. He had a great overall game tonight, but guarding Trae, he made it really hard for him. Trae Young had 6 points in the first half, but like 4 of them were right at the last 2 minutes, and he made a couple of free throws and another bucket right at the end, because he had nothing going into the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, excuse me. So anyway, yeah, then there's another play in the second half. There's this time where the game got close. The game got, they cut it down to 103-91, and we had been up like by 20 all the time. Cade's at the free throw line, and he throws this hook pass to Duren. It was an amazing pass, and Duren goes way up one-handed and just flushes it. You know, it was a really impressive dunk. So that gave us 2 points. And then Cade gets the ball and throws a length of the court pass to Ausar for a dunk, and that was that put us back on track, and so we just dominated from there. It's really cool again. Cade was on Inside the NBA with Shaq and Charles Barkley and Ernie and Kenny the Jet Smith, and all those guys are praising him and saying he's definitely an all-star. They interviewed him. He had a nice tie on and a suit, sport jacket, and he did a great job on the interview, but he's getting all this publicity, and we're winning, and everything's come together perfectly. They're going to announce the starters for the All-Star game tomorrow, and I'm sure Cade won't be in the starter, but everybody's saying that he is going to be a reserve. I think it's like it's the consensus. And again, so many things in sports there's narratives, and that everybody regurgitates the same narrative, and it goes around. And of course, the Pistons were always so bad that no matter how good Cade did, people just didn't notice it. And now this year they're winning, and Cade's doing even better than before, and so everybody's noticing it. So it was really good. But I'll tell you, Isaiah Stewart, he is just crazy good. They continually told the stat that he's leading the league in field goal percentage at the rim, meaning that he allows the worst percentage at the rim in the NBA, in the entire league, not just the non-starters. We know the stat about I think he's right up there, first or second in blocks by guys that don't start, that come off the bench. But tonight, how does a guy impact the game so much? He plays 19 minutes, and he makes one basket, and he's 1 for 3 in 19 minutes. But 19 minutes, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. I mean, and it's so, I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's not that tall. He does have long arms, and he can't jump that high. He can't. His vertical is not close to what like Duren's is or Ausar's is. Not even in the same ballpark. But he has like over 7'2" reach, I think. And these guys come into the basket and they think they have a dunk, and not only does he block it, he doesn't foul. It just is mind-boggling how amazing he is at that. Because usually when a guy comes in there and they raise that arm up and they cock it back and they thrust that arm forward, it's almost impossible not to foul him. But somehow Stewie does it. So I've said this before, but he is thrilled with his role. He loves his role. He did not feel comfortable last year. So tonight he had a wide open 3. Didn't even look at the basket. He did it. Handed it off to somebody. He could have shot it easily, and he probably should have. I really would have rather him shot it. But anyway, he doesn't care. He loves his role. He does. He's played his whole career. He started, played more minutes, averaged 13 or 12 points a game, and I can tell you, he's having more fun now because that is who he is. And he loves his teammates, and he does the dirty work, and he embraces it. So Duren, another great game. I'm not going to say anything about the Duren haters anymore, but because I've said it enough. But tonight, 26 minutes. He got in foul trouble early. He's got to be smarter, not to get 2 fouls right away. But luckily, we have Stewart, and we got B-Ball Paul, who came in and played like 3 minutes and was really good in 3 minutes, if he can be good in 3 minutes. But Duren was 6 for 7 and 12 rebounds and 2 assists and 2 blocks in 26 minutes. And that is great basketball. He is shooting over 80% for the last 4 games. Over 80%. And, I know you can, like you say he gets dunks, but everybody can't get dunks. And, everybody can't get those. And those are real easy baskets. And those dunks are valuable points to get those easy baskets. And again, him and Cade had this amazing chemistry. I don't want to forget, Cade shot this driving hook, and it was reminiscent of Magic Johnson when he played center against the Philadelphia 76ers in the championship game. In the clinching game, Kareem was hurt. Magic started at center. He ended up with 41 points, which he never scored close to that. But he made the game-winning shot against the Celtics in the finals, and it was the same sweeping, big hook shot from just inside the free throw line area, and Cade shot one of those tonight, and it wasn't. Cade has this great jump hook that's a great weapon, especially when he posts up, but this was a different kind of hook shot. So anyway, it was fun, man. We were having. If you're not having fun, you're in trouble. You can't. You've got to enjoy this. Again, things get really nerve wracking. More like again, things. God bless our Lions. It's heartbreaking that they lost and had those turnovers, but it's going to get more frustrating because now it's fun when you're the ascending team. And Richard Brooks mentioned this in the comments that and I alluded to it before. It's fun when you're a ascending team. There's teams I can go. I need to have a podcast about which team. Who would you rather be, the Pistons or these other teams? You look at some teams, how disappointing they are. We've had it disappointing for a long time, and I still will contend that we don't want to rush the thing. I know, and a lot of you guys are saying, well, we've went 5 years and we've been so crappy that we should just make a big trade and get somebody really good. And if no matter what we have to do, if we have to trade first round draft picks or young players, and we should go all in. And I'm not for that, and because you don't want to get stuck just in the middle. You don't want to get stuck being the 10th through the 7th seed and go into the play-in, and because you can get stuck there really easy. But we just have to see what these guys can do too. Again, Duren's played much better lately, and it's unfortunate we can't see what Ivy could have done. Can you imagine? We're blowing people away, and Ivy's our second lead scorer, best scorer, and he was on fire when he got hurt, and we're still doing so well. But yeah, JB said they're having fun. JB said when they're having fun, teams play the best, and they're playing with joy and a great spirit, and we're fast breaking. I love the fast break, and I love the way we push the ball. And when we push the ball, we're way better, and we're beating teams and outscoring them on fast break points by quite a bit. And it's just been fun. And we just look like a great team. We just look like a playoff team. So Trae Young, again, he was averaging 23 or so a game, and tonight he had 13 points and 9 assists and 5 turnovers. And that, again, it takes a whole team, but with a guy like him. But Ausar was the main culprit of shutting him down. We really shut down DeAndre Hunter, who I wanted him. You can't get him for cheap now. We could have got him for cheap. So cheap. They were just wanting to get rid of his contract. I think we could have given him nothing hardly to take off. We probably could have got assets back for him because he was injured some. He wasn't playing that great. They were overtaxed at the forward position. He made quite a bit of money, not that much money, but he could have been had. Now he's not going to get traded for nothing. He's like second or first, in the league in points off the bench. Him and Beasley, and who was on fire tonight at the start of the game. He cooled off a little bit later, but he had another real good game. But Ausar, 7 for 9 in 24 minutes, and he can just get you those easy, again, just like Duren, those easy baskets. He runs the floor, he leaks out, he gets offensive rebounds, he's always ready for the lob, and he can just get up so quick and so effortlessly. And so he looked really great tonight. He only had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 steals and 1 block, and 16 points. Hardaway. So here's again, I repeat myself quite often because the same thing does occur to me. So when Ausar plays only 24 minutes, and like I say, Holland only played 12 minutes tonight, and Hardaway played 32 minutes, and he was 1 for 8. He was 1 for 6 on threes. He did have 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals, which was great. And he usually doesn't do that, but only 3 points. The only thing I was disappointed, he had a 2-on-1 break, and Asar's running down the floor ahead of him, and there's for lob, and he's cold. He's having a bad game shooting, and Hardaway pulls up on a 2-on-1 fast break and shoots a 3 and misses it. But anyway, that's, if you're hot, and I know Beasley takes those shots. He's just looking to pull the trigger all the time, but Beasley's shot better this year. Again, Beasley started out great tonight. He played 23 minutes. He was 7 for 14 overall, 5 for 11, but I think he made his first 4 threes. And then so he missed everyone after that, but he had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, but he still had 16 points, and we have that great bench that's really performing. I already went over Duren stats, but Tobias, 37 minutes, and he does a lot of things, but he's 3 for 7 and 2 for 3 on threes, which is great for him. 1 for 2 on free throws, but he only had 2 rebounds and 1 assist, and he had 9 points. And so what I'm trying to say again is that he's our oldest player, and he's playing 37 minutes, and he's not playing that great. And why don't we, give some of those younger guys a few more minutes? And if I still contend that that's our future. I mean, I think we're just in such great shape with Cade, obviously, and then Ivy and Duren, and then Ausar. But this is the year to still develop those guys, and we still can win. Again, if they're struggling, if Ausar is struggling, and Tobias is on fire, you play Tobias a lot more minutes. But anyway, hard to complain about JB. He's done a fabulous job, and our defense did a number on him. They shot 37% from the floor, 16% on threes, and again, they were cold tonight, but our defense helped contribute to that. So, and our defense has been way better than anybody could have expected. We know that we don't have that many great defenders, but another good thing about our team is now we got enough guys, even without IB, that different guys can step up at different times, and when guys off the bench do, it's great. Fontecchio really struggled last game. Tonight's only 16 minutes, but he was 4 for 8, 3 for 5 on threes. He did a lot of his damage in the first half. 2 for 2 on free throws, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Only 16 minutes, and so like he could get somebody else's minutes too. 13 points. He was plus 8. I've seen this so often. Sasser's had some great moments lately. He only played 14 minutes tonight, but he was 0 for 5 and 0 for 4 on threes and 5 for 5 on free throws, so on 2 rebounds and 3 assists. Again, if you could go through all of his games last year, he would have games where he was 1 for 9, and then he'd have games where he was 5 for 9 and 4 for 6 on threes or something crazy good. And then he'd have other games where he had bad games. Holland wasn't really a factor in the game tonight like he usually is. He played 12 minutes, 0 for 3, 2 for 2 on free throws, 5 rebounds though in 12 minutes, and he had a block. But B-Ball Paul, we all love him. 3 minutes, and JB mentioned him in the press conference after the game, but he had played 3 minutes. He was 1 for 1, and our team tonight had 10 blocks, and Cade had some great blocks. I thought he had one more block. He had 2 blocks, but I thought he had more than that. But he made some great blocks on a breakaway. They had a 2-on-1 breakaway, and he stuffed him at the rim without fouling, and really a tremendous play. He gets a lot of blocks for a guard, although he's 6'7" with long wingspan. But anyway, we had a fun night. Just like I said, enjoy this team every minute. And again, we could have bad games. We're still going to have a bunch of games where we lay an egg, but when we play tonight and just roll teams and look so impressive doing it, and they're fun to watch. We got guys that are fun to watch. It's fun to watch Cade go to work. It's fun to watch Duren and Ausar dunk, and it's so fun to watch when Beasley gets on a heater. It's just, we got a lot of fun players, and like JB said, they're playing with fun and joy, and they just are having fun. They got this great chemistry. But yeah, it's great to be a Piston fan right now, and hopefully things just keep on getting better, and we still have we have a long season to go, a lot of games ahead. We could have a bad streak, and I will say this: I don't want to jinx us, but we've been really fortunate. I mean, that to lose your second leading scorer, and I guess you could argue that he's the second best player, but to lose that, on a team, we don't even have like a third best player. Who's our third best player? I mean, at stretches, Beasley is, and maybe there's been a couple stretches where Hardaway's been really good, and Duren's had some great games, especially recently. But we don't have the guy. Usually, a team will have at least one other guy that's really good. Like the Hawks. They have Trey and they have Hunter and they have Jalen Johnson. He is fun to watch, man. I'd like to have him on our team, but we're not getting him, and they're not going to give up him easy. So anyway, again, I want to do a podcast about the trade deadline, and I know that it's coming up soon, about 2 weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks, and I'm real confident, like I repeated, that we are going to do something, that we're going to do something that's somewhat significant. But I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that takes the time to listen to me and support this podcast. And I feel like I don't even know you, a lot of you. Some of you I got to meet before, but it just feels like, you're hearing your comments and stuff like you're a friend, and that we're sharing in this experience together. So we'll talk to you on Saturday after the Orlando Magic game. Hopefully we're rolling then again. But thank you for listening. Be the reason that somebody feels loved. Go Pistons.